Dear Diary, I can honestly say that I have become a person that I no longer recognize as myself. When I look in the mirror, I don't see the same Jada as before. The Jada I was before the death of my parents. It was hard to lose both of them at the same time. I went from having two loving parents to them both being gone in a blink of an eye. I was angry, sad, and hurt. I was a 16-year-old ball of emotions, and I didn't know how to process something like that. I was a mess. I wanted the hurt to go away. I would do anything for the pain to subside for just a little while. So you can imagine when skipping school, smoking weed, and hanging out with other lost souls seemed more enjoyable than doing what I should have been doing, knowing I was taught better. My brother Anthony seemed to have it all together, and I envied that. Having my first child at the age of 17 with an abusive boyfriend was not the way I saw my life just a year ago before everything changed. But now was not the time to start feeling bad about the decision I chose to make. Sometimes it's hard to believe the mess I've made of my life. The one person I had left in this world that truly cared about me, I betrayed him. I betrayed him with what seemed like no remorse. I committed the ultimate betrayal. I was selfish. Selfish to think that things would go as planned and nobody would get hurt. It wasn't my intentions for anyone to lose their life. Guilt had been eating away at my soul. What I did to my brother was unforgivable. It was never my intention for him to go to prison for murder. I envisioned Malik getting hurt, but killing my baby's father was never part of my plan. Everything happened so fast. After one of my daily fights with Malik that inevitably left me all battered and bruised, just a quick text to Aunt, and my plan was set in motion. Aunt arrived quickly, visibly pissed and wanting answers. I can admit, the tears I shed were a bit extra, due to the fact that I had become so numb to the bruises I received from Malik, which didn't take much. Lately, my breathing too loud was enough to irritate him enough to slap me across my face, black my eye, bloody my nose, and bust my lip. He was mean, but he became downright cruel to me ever since I had baby Bella. He would get drunk and talk to me crazy, and with my smart mouth and his quick temper, I was slapped around a lot. He was twice my size, but that day I planned to get my lick back. While Aunt and Malik were busy yelling at each other, I ran to the bedroom and got Malik's gun. I aimed it at him. He was so sure that I was bluffing, and because of our daughter, he would never leave a loaded gun around the house. Little did he know how carefully I watched him load his gun every time he would take me to the gun range. I was able to load the gun myself, and my aim had gotten pretty good too. So I was almost certain that a bullet in the shoulder, or maybe even his leg, would do just enough damage to warrant my brother's arrest. Of course, I knew Aunt would take the blame for me. I'm his baby sister, and besides, I had Bella, and Bella needed her mother. Everything happened so fast. Malik reaching for the gun caught me completely off guard. I didn't want to lose my open shot opportunity. The adrenaline rush had me second guessing myself. It was now or never. I needed him bleeding for my plan to work. I would use Malik's hospital recovery time to catch ghosts with baby Bella. The reason I needed my brothers arrested was because there was a stipulation in our inheritance that my parents left that stated that I had to be 21 years old or enrolled in some type of higher learning before receiving my portion of the inheritance. The only exception was if my brother Anthony, who received a monthly stipend to take care of us, were to get into trouble with the law, resulting in his incarceration, or become disabled, or God forbid passed away before I turned 21 years of age, I would be able to receive my full inheritance as early as my 18th birthday to help support myself. I needed that money. I dropped out of school after having baby Bella. Her father and I were having so many issues, and I was afraid to tell my brother everything. I was 1 month away from my 18th birthday. This had to work. So when I heard the first gunshot, it was nothing like I had seen on TV. I was horrified by the blood that splattered against the wall. My vision became a bit hazy. I backed up. I knew that I had aimed at Malik's leg, but he was still slowly walking toward me. It was too late to turn back now. I needed a second shot. Perhaps a bullet in the shoulder would slow this bastard down. So I squeezed the trigger again. This time he lunged at me, and instead of his shoulder, my second shot hit him square in the chest, and he went down almost immediately. I dropped the gun instantly. My last night vegetables landed beside his lifeless corpse. I looked for Aunt, who was in the corner holding a crying Bella. Aunt was in utter shock, but he quickly took control of the situation. He went into Big Brother mode and wiped my fingerprints from the gun as he took the gun into his own hands. What had I done? Malik was supposed to be hurt, riding in an ambulance right now. Instead, he was laying deceased on our living room floor. Aunt was supposed to take the blame for assault with a deadly weapon. Maybe, but not murder. This is not the first time I've told this story. The first time I told this story was about a month after everything had happened. My brother Ant was serving time for a crime I committed. Malik was 6 feet deep. I could hardly bring myself to attend his funeral. It was extremely hard to live with what I had done, and I had PTSD and severe nightmares. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and Hennessy became my best friend. The nights I could find a sitter for Bella was too far in between, until my birthday weekend came around and my friend Charlotte offered to babysit baby Bella, while I went down to the local bar to, throw a few back. It was an absolute hole in the wall, where they hardly ever carded anyone. I was on my fifth shot when I met Stacy. Stacy was a cool chick, and judging by the scar on her right cheek, I assumed she had her own set of troubles. We gravitated toward each other and started taking shots together. I had ran out of money, but after a quick chat between Stacy and the bartender, she handed him her card and the shots kept coming. Even though the drink seemed a bit watered down, I was too lit to care. At some point, I started to notice how good Stacy was at holding her liquor. I was completely wasted. We moved to a small table at the back of the bar when my mouth starts moving, and I tell Stacy everything, and I do mean everything. I couldn't stop myself. In between sniffling and crying, I had confessed to this total stranger how I had set my brother up to take the blame for hurting my baby's father, which turned into murdering my baby's father. I told her about my parents' death, the inheritance, the stipulations, everything. She asked questions, listened intensively. At times, she hung on my every word. I figured the shock of the story helped sober Stacy completely up. By the time the bar was closing, I was still hella drunk, and Stacy was calling me an Uber to get home. I'm glad I would never see Stacy again. But I have to admit, it was something so soul cleansing about confessing everything to this total stranger. She probably just thought the whole situation was just the intoxicated babbles of a messed up girl. At least that's how I hoped she perceived it. Anyway, who cares? I was sure I would never see her again. At least that's what I thought. But I was wrong. Real wrong. I was so quick to go running my mouth to a total stranger. I was trying to ease my guilt and get some things off my chest, admit it out loud and somehow repent of my sins, thinking I would never see this stranger again. Imagine my surprise when I was summoned to court on my brother's case. The case I thought was already done. I was called to the witness stand to be questioned by my brother's court appointed lawyer. In court sat another witness on his appeal. The woman was dressed professionally, her natural hair pulled back away from her face, showcasing the scar on her right cheek. I knew this woman, and she knew me. She knew more about me than she should have, and it was all my fault. It was too late to take it all back, and I had to deal with the consequences of my actions. Always, Jada.